Hey guys, this is Will with Outdoor Sports Marketing. I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit today about the gear and the products that I used on a recent 50K run. We ran the Art Loeb Trail, which spans about 30 miles from the southern terminus in Brevard, North Carolina at the Davidson River Campground, up and over the Blue Ridge Parkway and Black Balsam Knob to its northern terminus at Camp Daniel Boone near Canton, North Carolina. So with a 30-mile ultra run, you really want to be careful and aware of your conditions when you're planning and preparing for your gear. So keeping that in mind and the fact that we were running in December, I wanted to be really cautious about the weather. Fortunately for us, it was really mild temperature-wise, so I was able to run in shorts and either a short sleeve t-shirt or a light jacket for the majority of the run. Given the circumstances for us, that was all that I needed. I had extra gear just in case, but when you're planning for something like this, you want to make sure you always have the emergency essentials. So first, diving into the clothing that I wore a Smartwool Sport 150 t-shirt. I love the Sport 150 tee because of its price point. So comes in right around $50, and $50 for a Merino t-shirt is just a great price point. So they're kind of my everyday t-shirts. I wear them either in the t-shirt form like this or in the polo version, oftentimes for work. So it's kind of my go-to whether I'm running, biking, climbing, at work, at the office, whatever it may be. For my shorts, I ended up going with the Sport 8-inch lined short from Smartwool. So with these in particular, for ultra running, I like to have a little bit extra coverage. So I loved having that 8-inch inseam. You do have two pockets on the front and then a zippered pocket on the back. But another feature that I really like is going to be that liner. So you do have that full liner on the inside of this short. Again, just extra protection for those longer days out on the trail. As far as my socks are concerned, I wore the PhD Pro Endurance, the Rob Carr edition. So Rob actually specifically designed this with Smartwool, with ultra running in mind. So it's got a couple of features that I really appreciated. First off is going to be the shred shield in the toe box. This is going to prevent any breakthrough on the front from long toenails or from repeated hitting against the front of your shoes when you're descending. But it also has a beefed up cushion on the Achilles right here. And so this is going to prevent you from feeling as much when you're on a steep incline or decline. It's going to give you a little bit of extra cushion and comfort and padding right there. So loved the socks. As far as what I wore on top, I primarily ran with my Sport Ultralight jacket here. So I love the Sport Ultralight jacket. You're lined with merino wool in just the right places. So you've got the merino wool right here in the armpits. You've got it around your neck and on the hood. And so when you zip the piece up, your mouth isn't up against the zipper. Instead, it's right up against that nice soft merino wool. Another great feature about this jacket is that it does pack down into its own pocket here. So you're able to stuff that and stash it in your pack and you're ready to go. So loved the ultralight jacket. I did bring a pair of 150 weight gloves also. I kept those on for the majority of the run. They felt fantastic. I loved the gloves. Didn't want anything heavier just because it was a little bit warmer on our trail run. So the 150 weight was perfect and all we needed. As far as glasses are concerned, I wore an old pair of Julbo Colorados. I love the polarization on the Colorados. Makes it really easy to see if it's really bright outside or if you've got a little bit more cloudy coverage. So the Julbos were great. And then as far as head coverage is concerned, I wore my bright yellow Thermarest hat. Man, the hat was fantastic. This is my go-to for trail running. I wear it all the time. It was also bear hunting season, and the parkway tends to get pretty crowded with bear hunters, and so I wanted something with a little bit of visibility there. As far as my footwear is concerned, I actually ended up going with the Saucony Exodus 10. I love the Exodus because it's actually built on the same platform as a trail running cult classic, the Peregrine, which is what I use for the majority of my training. So with the Exodus, very similar to the Peregrine, built on virtually the same platform. You still have those really aggressive multi-directional lugs. The main reason I chose this over the Peregrine or another Saucony shoe though was because you have a 31.5 millimeter stack height in the heel. So 4 millimeter drop heel to toe, but with that that 31.5 millimeter heel stack. Over the course of the 30 miles, I felt really comfortable. It kept my feet and my legs feeling great. Also handled the really technical terrain well with those multi-directional lugs. So highly recommend the Exodus. I did go with a non-Gore-Tex just because I saw the weather. It was going to be mid-50s, no rain, no chance of snow, nothing like that, obviously. And so I wanted that extra breathability provided with the Exodus there. All right, guys, so we covered the clothing that I wore on the trip, so we're gonna move a little bit more into the gear now. As far as the gear is concerned, I mean, really first thing to consider is you are heading into a wilderness area, particularly with this trip. You know, this wasn't an organized event, so it was unsupported. I had to carry everything that I wanted on my back. So that means I've got to filter my water. That means if, you know, whatever, I get stuck, I get injured, I'm out overnight, I wanna make sure that I can have enough food and enough shelter and protection to keep safe throughout the night. So I carried the Duro 6 with that in mind. The 1.5 liter seemed just a little bit too small. The 6 seemed like it had plenty of space to carry everything I would need over the course of the 30 miles. So starting from the front here, you're gonna have plenty of pockets to keep hydration. You're gonna be able to keep nutrition and everything else you need right here on the front. Most of the emergency items are gonna stash here in the back. And so kind of working my way up, in the front pockets here, I like to keep my goos right there, easy to access. I've got my chapstick, easy to access right there as well. I'm gonna keep my water filter in the pocket right here on the side, and so I can easily grab that and deploy that while on the trail without even taking my pack off. I've got my soft flasks from Osprey in these front pockets. Those currently don't have any water in them. And then I'm gonna be able to stash jackets and other items here on the front. And so I'll kind of run you through the different gear that I personally used and carried in my pack. We talked a little bit about clothing. One thing I did not mention was the additional clothing that I brought. So I did bring 250 weight base layers from Smartwool as well. I never actually ended up taking these out or using them, but I did want to have them just to be safe. If you're stuck out overnight, if you get injured, if there's, you know, whatever, a random storm, temperature drops, it's really nice to have that extra clothing. Again, in this particular case, I did not need it, but having that extra security of having it with me is always a good feeling. We started at about 7 a.m., so I didn't really have to have a headlamp or a light fixture, but you know, always good to be safe, particularly when you're going out into a wilderness area. And so I loved having just the two different sources to choose from. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been out and my batteries have died. Whatever, something gets wet, breaks. I always like to have two lights just in case. If you're stuck out at 10 p.m., the last thing you want is to also not have a light with you. So light was crucial, and that was great. Moving on to hydration, seeing that I did carry the Duro with me, the first source of hydration that I had was going to be just my standard 1.5 liter reservoir. With this, one of my favorite features of these Osprey reservoirs is they do have the quick connect system. So I can't tell you how many times with older versions of hydration reservoirs I've had to kind of feed the hose out every time I want to take my reservoir out. The nice thing with this is you can leave this hose in and attached. You pop it with the quick connect, and then you can easily slip out your reservoir so you can fill this up. Another nice thing is, we'll talk more about the TrailShot here in a second, but you can actually just pop off the bite valve and plug your TrailShot right in. So you can actually fill up without even undoing your reservoir at all. Another really great feature. Another source of hydration that I had with me was just these standard Osprey soft flasks. With the soft flasks, this was primarily where I carried all of my drink tablets. So I would put my electrolytes in here just so I would have two different sources of hydration. If I wanted water, if I wanted something with a little bit more electrolytes in it, I would go for the soft flask here. As far as my water filter is concerned, I did carry the MSR TrailShot. This is my go-to for all solo backpacking adventures, mountain biking, trail running, you name it. If I'm out by myself or in a small group moving fast, the TrailShot is my go-to. A couple really nice features here. First is gonna be the pre-filter. With the pre-filter, that's gonna prevent any sediment, any dirt, any gunk from entering your main filter body. And so that way you're actually able to maintain about a 1 liter per minute flow rate. So really quick for the weight, coming in just at 5 ounces. So absolutely would recommend for any fast moving activity like trail running. You're also using hollow fiber technology. With that being said, you have the ability to do an integrity test in the field. You have the ability to back flush that out in the field. You also do have a clean side cover, which is going to prevent any cross contamination. And with this really small valve right here, you're able to really pump that into even the smallest of reservoirs like these soft flasks. As far as nutrition is concerned, I primarily relied on goo. So I really did take probably about 1 gel per hour, which is typically about what's recommended. So about every hour I was taking a goo gel along with my water, and really there are a lot of people out there who can sustain over the course of an ultra just on gels like this. More power to them, but man, I definitely need some type of real solid food for sustenance. If nothing else, just for a little bit of a morale booster. So my go-to is always peanut butter pretzels. In particular, when we summited Pilot Mountain, which is about halfway through, a little over halfway through, right after the steepest climb of the entire run, man, we sat down at the top and I ate an entire baggie of peanut butter pretzels, and man, that just absolutely gave me the morale boost that I needed to make it across the parkway over into Shining Rock Wilderness, where the huge views are, and those will definitely help encourage you on to the finish line there. So for me, that's kind of what I focused on nutrition-wise: the goos, the gels, and then some solid foods, small sandwich, peanut butter pretzels, things like that. And then last but not least, it's just gonna be those emergency items. So we talked a little bit about the lighting that I use with the headlamps. You wanna make sure you've got your map and your compass, whether you're going into a wilderness area, backcountry, whatever it is, you always wanna make sure you've got a map that's covering your area. I did bring a lighter and a space blanket as well, just some emergency items just in case. I did also have a cell phone with me in case I needed that. And honestly, so I'm sure I forgot something here or there, but that's the majority of the gear that I carried with me on the run. So had a great time. I hope you guys get to experience the Art Loeb Trail, whether backpacking or running, whether you're section hiking, doing the trail in a day or a couple days, whatever it is. It's an absolutely beautiful trail, and really hope you guys get out there and enjoy it. Thanks a lot. Bye.